Hello, everyone. Welcome to Preparing for the Storm, a BrandStorm preview. I'm Mary Capola with United Fresh Produce Association, and I'm happy to have you here with us today. I almost missed my cue there. I was still dancing to that entry music. So that's the kind of fun we're going to have here, and that's the kind of fun we're going to have at BrandStorm in 2 weeks. So before we get started, I just want to give you some logistics about today. Please use the chat at the bottom of your Zoom if you have any questions throughout programming. We will be monitoring the chat and we'll be able to answer your questions as they come in. We're also going to use that chat to share some links with you as we talk through some of the notes and want to call your attention to some forums and some other interactions during today. So as we get ready for interactions, I also want to remind you to please keep your sound muted, at least in the interim. We will get to a point in this hour ahead of us where we will do a breakout. And at that point, you'll unmute and you'll turn your video on and we'll do some interaction. And when we're in our subgroups, again, you'll be able to unmute your mics. So I'd like to start by saying thank you to all of our BrandStorm sponsors this year. Your tremendous support of the program is going to make this virtual event exciting. Bethany dropped that link in the chat already, so you can see who our sponsors are. And you know, Bethany, while we're talking about engagement, I would like to bring you to the forefront, our digital marketing manager at United. I know that you have an engagement that you want to talk about and share some exciting news today.
Yes, thank you, Mary. Good afternoon, everybody. So I get the privilege today to share our BrandStorm Zoom background contest winner and the winning design. So that probably sounds familiar to a lot of you that have participated in the past. Normally we do a poster contest when we are able to meet in person. This year for our virtual event, we did a Zoom background. So the winner this year is Amanda Arguello from Dole. I believe she's on the line today. So I'm going to switch my background so everybody can see that design. Here we go. So a little fun fact, Amanda has actually submitted a design 4 times over the years for BrandStorm, but this is her first time with her design being selected. So we're very happy for her, thankful for her submission this year. So everybody could give her a round of virtual applause. It'll be great. If you see her around BrandStorm in 2 weeks, please congratulate her. And lastly, this background will be available for everyone to download and use as the official background for the event. With that, I'll hand it back over to Mary.
Great. Thank you, Bethany. And congratulations again, Amanda. I know you've been trying for so many years to win this contest. So congratulations this year. Today's webinar is going to be a 3-part piece. So we're going to start by talking about the schedule of events, which I hope you're all familiar with. Then we are going to go into a breakout because the point of being on this Zoom is that you all can start networking with each other. We are a community of marketers. And then after we do the breakout, Bethany's going to come back up and start sharing with you what your BrandStorm experience is going to be like since it's virtual this year. But before we get started, I would like to introduce to you the chair of our Produce Marketing and Merchandising Council, which is the group that hosts BrandStorm each year. Mark Munger, the VP of Sales and Marketing for Forest Farms. Mark.
Thank you, Mary. Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for taking the time to join us for Preparing for the Storm. We're really excited to have you here, and I see a lot of people from our council and a lot of familiar faces, but we're also excited for those of you who are joining us just to learn about BrandStorm and find out what it's all about and whether or not it is a good investment in your time. This is our 5th BrandStorm event, we're excited to say. Our first 3 we held in San Francisco. Last year, just before the pandemic hit, we were able to hold our 4th in Austin, Texas. And we're excited this year. This is about bending and flexing with the times to have our very first virtual event. We think it's a great opportunity to get more people from your companies participating with a little bit less risk of all of the added travel and lodging expenses. So if you have always wanted to test the waters, this is a really great opportunity because you're going to get all of the content and still get to go home and sleep in your own bed. As Mary said, I'm Mark Munger. I'm co-chair of United's Produce Marketing and Merchandising Council, which is one of United's expert councils. And I get to share the chairmanship with Kim St. George, who's going to be joining us towards the end of our presentation today. She's actually traveling. And BrandStorm is truly our council's labor of love. About 5.5 years ago, our Produce Marketing and Merchandising Council recognized that marketers in our industry really needed a place that we could get together to build community and to have a platform where we could hone our marketing skills and our marketing messages. And that was how we conceived this conference. It's designed, conceived, produced, and implemented by produce marketers for produce marketers, which I think really makes it unique. We are literally designing a conference that we want to attend ourselves. And I think it really has made BrandStorm a unique event. And what can you expect from it? Well, you're going to hear a lot about that today, but from my perspective, you're going to see speakers in the speaker lineup that come some from inside our industry, but more importantly from outside of the industry. So we get new messages, new faces, new ideas that aren't just produce related, but really relate to our industry. We really try and focus on key topics that are relevant and directly impacting our business, since this is being created by us for us. Practical seminars that let you go home with real tactics and real practical ideas, not just airy-fairy, big strategic ideas where you're not really sure how that applies to your business. We really try and make it practical. And probably most importantly, and we'll get a little piece of that today, an opportunity to meet other marketers and build friendships and communities, because this really is our opportunity to network with each other. And I think when we collaborate, we network, we share ideas, we end up having stronger messages for our individual companies, but certainly for the industry as a whole. So thank you very much. Really appreciate that you've carved out an hour of your busy day for us. And I'm going to turn it back to Mary to give you an overview of our really exciting agenda. So thanks, Mary.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm going to correct you that it's been 6 years. This is the
yes, technically.
BrandStorm. So that'll just help you guys understand, not only is there some longevity here, the industry really looks forward to this event. And once you've attended it once and become what we call a brand ambassador, you'll understand why. So I'm going to jump right into the content. You've seen the schedule of events. Bethany just shared it. And I believe yesterday we also just promoted a list of new speakers as of yesterday. So I'm not going to get too much into who's speaking, but really what you're going to experience. So the dates of the event are March 9th to 11th, although we are having our opening reception on Monday, March 8th, and we'll talk about the networking experiences in a moment. But the types of content you can expect from BrandStorm. We're going to have 4 general sessions over 3 days. So kicking off on Tuesday, we have our opening keynote. Her name is Lindsay Pedersen, and she will be introducing her ironclad marketing strategies. So a great way to really set the tone, not only for Monday's education, but for the overall BrandStorm experience. On Wednesday, we'll be starting very early, 8 a.m. Eastern, with the global marketing trends perspectives from around the globe. We have a moderator from the UK, and we have panelists from South Africa, Netherlands, and Mexico. Now, I do want to note that although that starts at 8 a.m. to respect their time zones, later in the day, we will be hosting an encore. So if you don't want to get up that early, and certainly those of you on the Pacific Coast, I don't expect you to get up that early, you can come to the encore and we will share the key findings from that session. It also will be recorded, so you'll be able to access it later on demand. Thursday, we'll start with an opening session from Abasto Media, where Gus, our friend Gus at Abasto, will be hosting a panel of retailers to explore opportunities with the Hispanic shopper. So this really is a growing demographic, and we want to take a look at how we can sell more produce to this demographic, engage them more as produce marketers. One feature that we've included this year for that particular panel of retailers is that we are accepting questions in advance for them. So Bethany's going to throw that link into the chat here. And please feel free to send some questions to them in advance. We're going to provide those retailers with your questions so that they're prepared to answer them when we get to that session. And then that day, similarly, we're going to close BrandStorm with a fireside chat featuring Mark Munger, as well as two of his peers, Cindy Jewell and Roger Peppel, who also are past Produce Marketing and Merchandising Council chairman. So it's going to be a great conversation, getting their perspectives of where fresh produce marketing has come from and where we're headed. We also have a form to ask those folks some questions in advance, which I know some of you have already done. But again, Bethany will share that link and you can continue to ask questions so that Mark and Cindy and Roger are prepared to share some insights with you. So that's general sessions. And I'm going to just keep rolling here. Please remember, you can ask some questions in chat and Bethany will interrupt me if there's anything that needs to be addressed. The next feature of what we're doing is concurrent sessions. This is a familiar feature to anyone that's been to BrandStorm or quite frankly, any United Fresh event. These are really the workshops, the nitty-gritty content. These are presentations. There are 7 of them over 3 days. They run concurrently, so you'll have to choose one or the other. These particular sessions will be recorded, will be available on demand to our BrandStorm attendees so that if you don't have, well, obviously you don't have the opportunity to duplicate yourself, you have to choose one or the other, but you won't miss the content because you can go back and review it later. Then we are moving into something we've renamed this year, which is exploratory dialogues. In the past, for those of you who have attended BrandStorm, these used to be called exchange discussions. But this year, they're so timely and so new in terms of a topic, a subject matter, that exploratory really felt like it was more informative in terms of what you'll experience in those discussions. These will be presented by discussion leaders. So there will be somebody in that session to introduce the topic, introduce the discussion. So this is what we're trying to accomplish here today, or this is what we'd like to explore. And then after about 10 minutes of that, we will go into breakouts. We're going to test a breakout today, so you'll get more familiar with what that's like. If you've attended any of United Fresh's education this year, you already know what a breakout feels like. So that's going to be the exploratory dialogues. It's really a way as fresh produce marketers for us to come together and start to tackle some of these post-COVID, which I guess it's more post-2020 subject matters, things that have changed in marketing for us that we need to have to figure out how to navigate collectively. And then following that is our newest feature of BrandStorm. These are our marketing firm presentations. We are so honored to have 6 marketing firms who have put together a session each that they're going to present at BrandStorm. These will run concurrently, 3 and 3. It'll be up to the session presenters whether or not they plan to record. And if they do, we will offer that on demand. And so today, I know I have a number of those marketing firms on this call, and I want to call on them to just give a little overview about the content that they're going to be presenting. So John, I see you, John Groh from Sparkloft, if you want to unmute yourself and give us a quick overview of what Sparkloft will present.
Yeah, hi, can everybody hear me? Thumbs up. Yes, okay, thank you. Yeah, I think I'm very honored to be here and thank you for all of your attention and looking forward to meeting more of you. Yeah, I think you're probably going to sense a recurring theme from all of us of just how crazy 2020 was when it comes to consumer behavior and how rapidly things have changed. So we're going to be focusing on kind of 3 different areas in our session to give you the broadest foundation we can. We are a social media agency, it's all we do. So we're going to focus in on those areas. So the 3 different areas that we're going to talk about, just kind of overall consumer behavior changes, just start talking about consumer sentiment and just the general trends that we're seeing, and then a little specificity around this particular category of produce. We're also going to talk about emerging platforms that you should pay attention to. There's a lot of different media consumption habits that have changed over the pandemic. Things like streaming and live content. Now audio-based platforms are evolving. We'll walk you through the ones that we think that you should pay attention to and why. And then lastly, we're going to have our creative team talk to you about working with limited resources. Content is difficult to maintain. So our creative team is going to discuss ideas and approaches on making the most of your resources and budgets to stay relevant in social. So that'll be our session. We look forward to seeing you all.
Fantastic, John. Thank you. And on my screen right above you is Nadine from Food Mix. Nadine, do you want to share your session?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So our session will be on Wednesday morning, March 10th, and our topic is going to focus much more on consumer targeting. Developing an effective marketing communications program, really begins with making sure that you understand who your consumer is. So we're going to take a deeper dive into exactly who are you targeting, where do they live, what are their beliefs, how do they and where do they shop, what drives them in their decision making, what are the best media to use to target them, and how do you make them brand loyal advocates. So it'll be very interactive. That is our intention. And we're going to let you participate in the process of identifying the most profitable target for your brand. We're going to utilize our MRI data, which is a syndicated data system that we use to help walk through the full demographic and psychographic profiles of who your most valuable produce consumers are. And we're also going to give you a sneak peek at our proprietary produce consumer brand love survey, which we are getting ready to field again in 2021. So I hope you will join us.
Thank you, Nadine. And I don't know if you guys plan this. I know you can't plan this, but Karen, you're right next to Nadine. So Karen Nardaza from Moxie is up next. Karen, go ahead and unmute yourself and share with us your session.
Hi, everybody. It is great to see you all here, and we're looking forward to BrandStorm again. Can't believe it's been 6 years. Wow. I don't know, with the concurrent sessions, I don't know if I want to give my presentation or listen to Sparkloft. We're Wednesday afternoon at the same time, so it's a good thing that they'll be on demand. I hope they're going to record. Our session will be about website development, and this is something that every company has to tackle at some point. Website redesign. Websites, everybody knows, are not just a communications platform, but a business critical tool, almost like your virtual headquarters. And there are so many considerations for how to plan a successful website redesign and launch, from ADA compliance to voice search to how to make sure that the programming is done correctly so that your recipes pop up and are easily shareable on social media, and that your platform works for all of the influencers and other business critical operations that you need to assure supply chain transparency and brand communications. There's a lot to consider, and we have a process that we use that we want to share with everybody, and look forward to sharing all of that and taking your questions to make sure that your next website redesign goes really well.
Thank you, Karen. Allison Beadle from Wild Hive, you're up.
Thank you so much, Mary, and hello, everyone. It's great to be here with y'all today. We're really looking forward to BrandStorm in a couple of weeks. So my firm, Wild Hive, we are a consulting and communications strategy company, and we specialize in food, agriculture, and nutrition. I'm actually a registered dietitian by training, but we do a lot of other things. And for our session, we are going to zero in on what we call the well-aware consumer mindset. And this is a mindset of consumers that is growing like crazy across all demographics, across all generational age groups. And this is that mindset of consumer that is defining health more broadly, beyond just personal health, beyond just nutrition, but encompassing sustainability, community impact, and all of the other wonderfully high expectations that this mindset has of their food. So we're going to dive into that mindset and then talk about what it takes to responsibly communicate with this audience, and to talk about sustainability and nutrition from a point of both credibility and responsibility to build trust with the well-aware consumer.
Excellent, Allison. Thank you so much. And last, Christy Mather from FLM Harvest. Christy, go ahead and share with us what your session is going to be on.
Hey there, it's good to see everybody. Our session with FLM Harvest is taking place on Wednesday afternoon, and the title is So Happy Together, Maximizing the Potential of Marketing Partnerships. So in our session, we'll show you the value of engaging in different types of marketing partnerships like media partnerships, sponsorships, and brand collaborations. We'll shed some light on how to identify and approach potential partners, and we'll give you a checklist of tactics that will make sure that you're getting the most out of your partnerships and how you can take advantage of those opportunities that you didn't see coming. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and our goal is to arm you with great strategies that you can use immediately in your marketing efforts, no matter your budget.
Fantastic. So thank you, all 5 of you. I know you're putting in a lot of hard work to get those sessions pulled together. You've got just under 2 weeks to polish them up, and we really look forward to having this new feature at BrandStorm virtual this year. So I'm going to take a pause here and see if there's any questions. Again, throw them in the chat, and Bethany, please let me know if there's anything we should keep talking about.
Yes, Mary. Well, I'm seeing lots of congrats for Amanda and her background. So already feeling that BrandStorm love, which is exciting. But I did see one question. If you could just clarify again for us, what is going to be on demand and what isn't going to be, so people can plan their schedule accordingly.
Sure, thank you. So, I've gotten this question offline as well, and it is important to clarify that BrandStorm, especially in person, has always really been designed for engagement. And that is going to ring true online as much as possible. It's important to be there as during the week from March 9th to 11th to engage and participate and have your voice be part of the conversations that we're having throughout BrandStorm. However, as I mentioned, there are concurrent sessions and general sessions at different times and time zones. So those will be recorded on demand, and it will be our goal to get those up within 24 hours. As we get towards the tail end of this webinar today, Bethany will show you where you'll be able to access the on-demand recordings as registered attendees at BrandStorm.
Great, Mary, thank you. And just one more, is there a way for people to see who is going to be at BrandStorm in 2 weeks?
Yeah, this is a great one. On our website, we do have a link to the dynamic attendee list. Of course, it's important to know who you're going to be able to interact with. You've seen the speakers. We have the speakers all listed on the website. I encourage you all to start connecting. If you haven't done it yet today, and I'm sure there's a little bit of LinkedIn traffic happening right now, use the chat to connect, use LinkedIn to find each other. We are hyperlinking our speakers' titles and names to LinkedIn, so you can go connect with them there as well. We encourage as much engagement as possible. Remember that we're all peers in this marketing discipline, so we would love for you to grow your community. Take a look at that dynamic list of attendees and certainly find each other on LinkedIn if you can't find them anywhere else.
Great. And one more question about the marketing firm session topics. Where can they find those to review?
So those will be listed on our website by tomorrow. That's just as much of a reminder for our team to get it up as it is for the marketing firms to polish them up, and we'll have them posted, and we'll also be promoting them. I'm sure your inboxes have been full of BrandStorm promotions, and we appreciate that you're reading them. We have not yet publicly promoted the marketing firm, so we're looking forward to doing that promotion this week.
Great. I think that's all for now, Mary. I think we can head into our poll.
Excellent. So we're going to start engaging and kind of coach you through what that's going to be like at BrandStorm. We've got our first poll here, so let's go through this. Take a minute to answer. And then we're going to break out and start discussing the poll response.
And if anybody can't see that full question, it is, what will 2021's greatest marketing challenge be? So get your crystal ball out for this.
All right, trade shows. Not surprising that this is top of mind for all of us, followed closely by retail landscape. So let's go ahead into breakouts. Stacy, if you would break us out. You have hosts with their name at the front, and we'll see you soon. All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a great breakout experience. That's just a little taste of what a lot of the content at BrandStorm will feel like, especially those experiential dialogues. We will be breaking out like that in rooms, hopefully no larger than 10 each, so that you can have intimate dialogues, get to know each other, share your thoughts, share suggestions, and then we'll come back in the main room here and ask each other if anyone has anything to share from that conversation. So I'm going to throw that out there. We'll do 2 minutes here. Does anyone want to share part of their discussion from that breakout?
Our group picked Justin Bieber.
Well, Patrick, you're going to have to elaborate on that a little more.
No, it was funny. Right when Mark walked in, look at me talking, Mark walked in the room. He goes, "Okay, everyone, I know Patrick picked the fifth option." I said, "I did. You got me. You got me. I picked Justin Timberlake all day, baby."
There you go. Well, if we can't keep an eye on what's happening in the general media as marketers, I'm glad somebody actually picked that option. So thank you. Does anybody else want to share what their room discussed?
You know, Mary, we just took a second to get to know each other a little bit. A big component, like you said, of BrandStorm is just getting to meet other produce marketers or even other functions at different produce companies. So we just took a second to get to know each other, discuss some of those hot topics. A lot of people in our room said the retail and the trade shows, which we know are big question marks. So it was good to just get that few minutes to meet some people.
Thank you, Bethany. And I'm glad you brought trade shows up because that became a big question in our room too. So I'm just going to say now before we move on, United Fresh is happy to talk to you about our plans for June. Please reach out to any of us. We'll talk about it a little at BrandStorm, but our team is ready to address any of your questions. And we'll put our contacts in towards the end of today. But sticking on BrandStorm, and now that you've all had an experience networking with each other and being familiar with the breakouts, there's a lot more of that in BrandStorm. We've already talked about that. So now let's start talking about what the BrandStorm experience is going to be like, how you're going to find your sessions, how you're going to interact during the week. So Bethany, I invite you to share your screen and walk us through the BrandStorm experience.
Sure. Okay, so this is, like Mary said, the landing page for the experience. If you guys have been to our events before, we usually try to have a hub where everything can live, so you can just come to one place and find everything you need. So this is it. We will be sharing the links to this page, all the details for the conference next Friday, March 5th with all registrants. So no need to worry about this now. You are going to get a wealth of information in your email on that day. But just to walk you through the page at the top here, this slider is going to be giving you the most up-to-date information each day for what you need to know. And then going further down on here a little bit, this is really the meat of the page. So this is where you will go to navigate to anything you need during the conference. The first most important one is the schedule of events. So clicking on this is going to launch a page for you where you will be able to enter into all of the different sessions. So our suggestion to you would be get really familiar with the schedule, decide what sessions you want to attend, go ahead, throw those on your calendar so that you'll get the ping to join, and then you can come to this page. Again, click schedule of events, and you will find the link to enter the Zoom rooms. Now, because this is a paid event, all of them will be password protected. And again, that password is going to be shared with all the registrants next Friday. In addition to entering the live events, this is also where you will go to find the on-demand sessions. So Mary was able to sparse out which will be on demand, which won't. We try to post those within 24 hours. So give us that little window of time, but then head back here in the exact same place that you clicked or would have clicked to join it live. You will click to view the on-demand session. We also have a link to learn more about our speakers on this page. We have all of their LinkedIns set up as hyperlinks. So you can go ahead and connect with them, learn more about them. Again, our speakers always really enjoy engaging with the attendees. So a great to do for you. We also have a page to thank all of our wonderful sponsors. If you haven't checked that out, please do. They have been very generous in supporting the program this year. Over here, we have a link to the attendee list. So if you missed that in the chat, it'll be here, and it continues to update as we get more registrants. So check back on that, see who you can expect in your Zoom rooms this week. We have a link to the BrandStorm playlist. That's where you can head over to YouTube, learn a little bit more about the conference, check out some different videos. And then last, we have contact. So we know virtual events, although we pretty much have a year under our belt, can be confusing sometimes, and you might need a little help getting into an event or anything. And we are fully staffed here at this button. So reach out to us, let us know if you need help getting into sessions, finding people, finding anything else. And then the other thing I'll highlight on this page is this form here. So we want to interact with you. We want to know what you're thinking, how we can help make BrandStorm the best experience for you. So at any time, hop over to this form, leave us some feedback, a testimonial, any concerns or BrandStorm love or anything you have to put in here, and we will collect that. So that is all you get for now on this preview.
Thank you, Bethany. So there was one question about the platform. Is this the same as the platform we used last June for United Fresh Live?
Yes, this is not the same platform. There is not going to be the login process and things like that. So this is a new and hopefully you consider improved way to navigate this event.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Yep. So at this point, we'll take any more questions. I saw that was what I think was the last question in the chat, but we hosted this preview today, hopefully gave you an overview and answered some of your questions of your experience in the next 2 weeks. I will say we had probably a 50-50 split of folks that were already registered and really looking forward to being with us at BrandStorm, and some folks that wanted to attend today and learn what BrandStorm is going to be about so that they can decide to make that decision to take time to join us. Before we completely close out, I do want to invite Mark Munger back one more time for any closing remarks. Mark.
Nothing prophetic, only to say thank you for taking the time. For those of you who haven't joined us for BrandStorm, and if you're still on the fence, I really encourage you to do it. This is a great opportunity to test the waters without having to do a trip. I think you'll really see that we've worked really hard and have for the last 6 years to put together really content-rich programs. And we're excited to have you join us, and really appreciate you taking the time today. And to all of you on the council that are here, I wish I could call you all out. I can see a whole bunch of your faces, but thank you. Really has been a lot of work from the United staff and from the Marketing Council to put another great program together, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. And I echo your sentiment. Our Produce Marketing and Merchandising Council usually meets 3 times a year in person. And this past year, believe it or not, we met more. We probably had about 7 meetings since last March, just like this, where we really drilled into these topics and discussions and curated the BrandStorm agenda for you in 2 weeks. So very much praise goes to the Produce Marketing and Merchandising Council for their time and effort to put this together. As Mark said at the start of the hour, this truly is an event by the industry for the industry. I did see one more question about our hashtag. I noticed a lot of our brand ambassadors, which is what you become once you've attended a BrandStorm, have been using the hashtag BrandStorm 2021. So we'll adopt that. If you want to talk about BrandStorm on social media, please use that hashtag BrandStorm 2021. And we will keep an eye on that and also amplify. In closing, we're looking forward to seeing all of you starting on March 8th with the Welcome Reception Meetup. If you've not already registered, there is a member discount for United Fresh members. And on top of that, there is an added discount for multiple attendees from the same company. If you have any questions or want to send a large group, please reach out to me directly. Bethany is going to put the link for registration in the chat, and she'll also put my email address. Again, this was recorded, so if you have any peers or colleagues that would benefit from seeing the preview, we will share that link likely within 24 hours. We really appreciate your time today, and thank you. We will see you at BrandStorm.